The oil company. The oil company's going to write the check, but what they're going to do, you want to talk about spreading the wealth? They're going to spread the expense. That has to happen. It's an expense. They have to spread the expense. How do they do that? By raising the price. The rich guys can pay $10 a gallon for gas. They won't like it, but it's not going to change their life, folks. They're not going to turn their thermostat down to 50 in the winter to save money. They're not going to do that. They got the money. They can pay $10 a gallon for gas. Who cares? You and I can't. Everything in your home is dependent upon petroleum products. There's not one thing in your house that doesn't have petroleum somewhere in its process of bringing it to market and getting it into your house. Something in everything that you own has to do with oil. That's it. You and I both know when a politician promises you the stars and one thing, I'm going to do this and that, and the list of things he's going to do for the average working guy gets so long, you know that's not true. You know it. When is the last time a politician made 50 promises and kept them all? When's the last time a politician made 5 promises and kept them all? Think about it. So be careful. This is a dangerous time. It's an important time. Our country's in a mess. And I'm not saying John McCain's got the answers. You know, some of his ideas are a little loopy too. But this is the big one. This is the one that's at the forefront of everyone's mind. This is the one that's going to impact the middle class, you and me. I got paint on my shirt, okay? This is the one that's going to make the difference in our everyday lives. This is the one that you have to make your choice on. The oil company's not going to cut their profits, folks. The executives are not going to cut their pay. Maybe the government will pass a law and restrict how much they can get paid. Believe me, just like the politicians, they will find a way to get the money. You know, why does a politician go into office, spends millions of dollars to get a job that pays $125 a year, or whatever it is? Why do politicians go into office? Their net worth is $600,000 when they go in, and 12 years later it's $6 million. How'd that happen on a $125,000 a year salary? It's a shell game. They're playing with your life and with mine. They take your money and my money, and they spend it. And you and I can't do anything about it until Election Day. It's Election Day. It's coming up. Do something. Don't be so filled with anger and envy at the oil company having made $90 billion or whatever the number is. Don't do that. There are millions of average Americans that are counting on that profit. Millions of retirement plans are counting on that profit. Millions of people that make some of that money that then go out and buy a new car or buy a new lawnmower or hire a landscaper to cut their grass this year or hire a painter or hire a contractor to put an addition on the house. Millions of Americans get that money to spend from some of the profits that these oil companies make through their stock investments. It's not as cut and dry as Brock wants you to think, man. It's just not. It's not like we're just going to take the money from the oil companies and it's over. Everyone is going to be impacted by that. And my suggestion is the impact for the average guy, you and I, is a lot more than any lousy tax cut we're going to get from Brock. And he keeps talking about tax cuts, but he also talks about letting the George Bush tax cuts expire, which when you let a tax cut expire, it's an increase. He says it's not for the 95% of the people, only for 5%. Look, they're both full of it. They both tell you what you want to hear, but neither one of them will explain this to you. Neither one of them will give you something to think about. If the oil companies are going to absorb this cost and not pass it on to the consumer in some way, vote for Brock. If the oil companies are going to have this expense to deal with and are going to find a way to compensate themselves for it by raising prices, you can't vote for them. Get out and vote, whatever you do.